Is it the fault of women for men lusting? Hi, welcome to today's little lesson. And we're going to step out into a little scary territory here because this is a topic that is culturally sensitive. I should say that there's debate within many circles on this very topic because there's this kind of a movement among some women who, are saying, well, we should be able to wear whatever we want, and if men can go without their shirts on in public, why can't we women do that, And it's not our fault that men can't control themselves. It's their problem. And so let them deal with it. We're going to dress the way we want to dress. It's interesting that a lot of those women also know, and if they'll admit it, that there is an element of their immodesty that is motivated by their desire to be desired by men. They're not wanting to take their shirts off just to necessarily not be so warm because of the temperature. They have an element of understanding in all this, and it just kind of amazes me sometimes to listen to some of these women who surely they know. And the idea of there being some kind of inequality, I get that to a degree, but then, men and women are different. And it's whether you believe in a creator or not, if you believe totally that, we all evolved out of nothing, and somehow a sexless cell divided and it became a male and female cell, and that ultimately evolved into the complexities of what we call male and female human beings. You can't deny that sex exists and that there are certain there's a nature about sex that clearly, who can deny this, men are attracted to women just as women are attracted to men, and for men it has a lot to do on the visual side. That's why there's so much more problem with men and pornography, more so than women and pornography, although there is a problem there too. Okay, so it's not just totally cut and dry, black and white. But nevertheless, the answer to the question that I posed at the beginning of this little lesson, are women to blame for men's lust? The answer is actually yes and no. All right, because a woman, can wear modest or immodest clothing, and each one of those things are a statement, a sexual statement, being broadcast to whoever would be within visual vicinity, and indiscriminately a woman can show off to other men what really should only be reserved for the one she loves, one to whom she's committed in a covenant of marriage, her husband. And, in the prohibition of prostitution and the prohibition of adultery, this is included. Modesty is right in there. It's right in there. Because as Jesus talked about lust being a form of adultery, well, so is provocative, immodest dressing a form of adultery, because it's trying to sexually attract. Now, a lot of women are, kind of naive in this area. They don't understand because they're not men. And of course, a lot of men are encouraging them because they want to see and they love immodest women. And they always have their periscope up seeing what they can see. But Christian men, you see, have made a covenant with the Lord, and they're trying to be pure and holy, but they're bombarded with essentially prostitutes surrounding them every day. Women just wearing clothing that is immodest. And Jesus warned about those who cause others to stumble. So Christian women don't want to be in that category. Now, I'm not going to be a clothesline preacher, and begin to delineate what women can and cannot wear and try to define what is modest and immodest, because I notice anytime someone does that, it's a bit of opinion. And so you have to let your conscience be your guide in this regard, but striving to be modest so as not to cause someone else to stumble is a virtuous thing. You're steering clear of what is wrong, and you're more closely obeying the commandment, thou shalt not commit adultery, because you're not doing anything to tempt someone to want to commit adultery with you, right? Right. But again, that doesn't mean that, men can't control themselves and look the other way or avoid those places where they'll be tempted. As we talked about in our previous little lesson, Jesus gave us the remedy for this. You can't change your hormones, but you can do something about the environment. Cut it off. All right? All right. So I hope I don't get too much hate mail on this. And along these same lines, this is a way that wives can show love for their husbands, not giving to others in any form what belongs to him. You're showing him how much you love him, because this is reserved for you and you alone. I'm not parading my body in front of other men in hopes that they'll say, "Ooh, she's hot." You want your husband to be thinking that, nobody else. Okay? All right, well, glad you joined me today. Hope you're glad you joined me too. God bless you.